Parents, what's the most painful thing your child has ever said to you? When I got pregnant at 20, everyone told me my life was over. My boyfriend disappeared before I even saw the second pink line clearly. My parents were furious. And for a while, it was just me and this tiny little boy in a one-bedroom apartment with peeling paint and an air conditioner that only worked if you kicked it. But the second I held him, none of that mattered. Ethan became my entire world. I worked doubles at a diner during the day, cleaned offices at night, and still somehow made it to every school play, every soccer game, every nightmare at 2 a.m. There were nights I skipped meals so he could have seconds. And honestly, I didn't care, because every time he hugged me and said, "You're the best mom ever," it felt worth it. When he was 11, his father suddenly came back. Not alone either. He rolled up in a black SUV with a perfect smile, expensive watch, new wife, and enough money to buy the kind of life I could never give Ethan. At first, Ethan was just excited. Disney trips, front row basketball tickets, a brand new gaming setup. I told myself it was okay. He deserved good things. But slowly, my son started looking at me differently. One night he asked why our apartment smelled weird. Another time he asked why I couldn't afford normal people vacations. Then came the real punch to the gut. Dad says you kept me from him. I felt like the floor disappeared under me. His father filled his head with lies for years. Said I was bitter. Said I trapped him with a baby. Said he would have taken Ethan sooner if I wasn't so difficult. And the worst part? Ethan believed him. By 14, he barely spoke to me unless he needed money. By 15, he refused to spend weekends at home. At 16, he asked if he could live with his father temporarily. I knew what that really meant. The house felt dead after he left. No dishes in the sink. No shoes by the door. No voice yelling "Mom" from the other room. Just silence. Still, I kept trying. I texted every morning, called every birthday, dropped off gifts he never opened. Most of the time, I got nothing back. Then one afternoon, after almost 8 months without seeing him, he finally answered my call. I started crying the second I heard his voice. I told him I missed him, that I loved him, that no matter what happened, he was still my baby. And he laughed. Actually laughed. Then he said, "You need to stop acting obsessed. Dad says you're emotionally manipulative." I couldn't breathe for a second, but what destroyed me was what came next. Honestly, Claire's more of a mom than you ever were. Claire, his father's wife, the woman who met him 2 years earlier. I stared at the wall while he kept talking, like every sacrifice I'd ever made was being erased in real time. And before I could stop myself, I said it. The worst thing I've ever said to my child. I whispered, "One day you're going to realize who really loved you. And when that day comes, don't come looking for me." Then I hung up. The second the call ended, I broke down. I wanted to take it back immediately, but my pride wouldn't let me. After that, we stopped speaking completely. Years passed. I rebuilt myself slowly. Therapy, a better job, a small house near the lake, a quiet life. I learned how to exist without waiting for my son to come home. Then last winter, during a snowstorm, someone knocked on my door. I opened it and froze. Ethan, 24 years old now. Older, thinner, exhausted. His father had been arrested for fraud 6 months earlier. Claire left the moment the money disappeared. Turns out the perfect family only worked when there was money to show off online. Ethan stood there crying before I even said anything. "I should have listened to you," he said. "You were the only person who never gave up on me." For a second, all I saw was my little boy again. The kid who used to fall asleep on my chest after nightmares. The kid I would have died for. And God help me, part of me wanted to hug him. But another part remembered every ignored call. Every empty birthday. Every time he chose them over me. So I looked him dead in the eyes and said, "You didn't lose your mother when you walked out that door at 16. I paused. "You lost her the moment you decided love could be replaced by money." Then I closed the door. And this time, he was the one crying on the other side of it.